All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopefully elect, coming at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. I want to do a land back off Apostle Tahar's video. As you can see, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay? When you go into the scripture, it's talking about the other nations, okay, devouring America, Babylon the Great. Okay, that great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? Which the waters represent the other nations. Okay, and he mentioned how the buildup, right? All these different things that you see going on, the skirmishes, the disagreements amongst these other nations, these are all building up, leading to the devouring of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so in particular, what Apostle Tahar was going into, how, France is pissed at the U.S. for making a backdoor deal with Australia. All right, so let's get into a few articles. And this is, we'll start with this one. It says, it's from NPR.org. It says, why a submarine deal has France at odds with the U.S., UK, and Australia. Australia bailed on a submarine contract with France worth $66 billion last week, choosing instead to work with the United States and the United Kingdom. Outraged France recalled its ambassadors to the U.S. and Australia. The Australian Navy's 6 Collins-class submarines are set to reach the end of their service life in 2036 and in 2016. France was chosen over Germany and Japan to help Australia replace its older subs with 12 new diesel-electric submarines. At the time, the Australian government called the Future Submarine Project the largest and most complex defense acquisition in the nation's history. But that was 5 years ago, and tensions are on the rise in the Indo-Pacific region, which spans from America's west coast to the shores of Australia and India. China's military and political interests in the region have grown, as has its military fleet, which has more than doubled since 2015, making it the largest naval force on the planet. As a result, Australia said it needs a type of submarine France cannot provide. The security challenges in the Indo-Pacific region have grown significantly. Military modernization is occurring at an unprecedented rate, and capabilities are rapidly advancing and their reach expanding. Reading the Australian media statement on Thursday, the technological edge enjoyed by Australia and our partners is narrowing. Australia announced it would join the U.S. and the UK in a trilateral security partnership, AUKUS, which lists the development of nuclear submarines for Australia as priority number one over the next 18 months. Australia's Department of the Defense will establish a task force to guide the coalition goal to become a reliable steward of nuclear technology. China has called the partnership, and more specifically, the sharing of nuclear technology, irresponsible. Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Zhao Lihan said the new agreement threatens the stability of the Indo-Pacific. Okay, so you see these type of things are going on, which ultimately we know this is leading, right, to the other nations devouring America, to the beast ending up hating the whore. Because this is what all this is going to lead to. And different nations, all right, have different ties with other nations, right? When we go to foreignpolicy.com, I want to get something from here. It says U.S. seeking Beijing in Australia after submarine deal. It says the U.S. President Joe Biden's administration is hoping to secure more U.S. military basing rights in the region. Multiple current and former officials told Foreign Policy in the wake of a landmark deal to build nuclear-powered submarines with Britain and Australia. Plans to bring rotations of U.S. fighters and bombers to the northern Australia will be raised at a remote ministerial meeting between U.S. and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and their Australian counterparts, officials said. So, boy, you see all these different things taking place, right? Why? Because ultimately, there is going to be a full-blown war, right? A full-blown war, all-out war, World War III, as we know in the Holy Scriptures. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And this is what you see, okay? The more of, military, more money is getting put into the military to what? For countries to defend themselves, for countries to also go on an offense if need be, all right? Whether it's on land, whether it's on sea, or whether it's in the air, okay? Nations want to be ready. Nations want to be prepared because they know there's going to be an all-out war, undeniable. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. So ultimately, all this is taking place for the nations to be gathered together in the valley of Jehoshaphat, okay? To be what? To be judged. And we know also that these nations are going to be judged for what? The Lord has a controversy with the nations. For who? For Zion, for Israel, for the Israelites, his people, his chosen people. Right? So this is why all these different things is ultimately taking place. Prophecy. Okay? We're seeing prophecy play itself out. Literally. Okay? Now, let's go to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They eat thy bread, have laid a wound unto thee. There is no understanding in him. And see the teams that are people that are allied with America, Babylon the Great. Okay, because you got NATO, all right, and the EU. These nations that are allied with America are going to eventually what? They're going to turn on them. That's why it says all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to the border, and the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Okay? And this was going to take place. See if I can type in eat her flesh. I think it's in Revelation 17. Yep. The Apostle Tahor mentioned or put in the script. It says, I start at 17. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Right? Speaking about the other nations. For he is the Lord of lords, kings of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, the other nations, where the whore sitteth, America, Babylon the Great, are peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Okay, so this is what's about to happen to America, Babylon the Great. And this build-up, which we see, right, is all circling around, leading back to what? For the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So all this is leading up to this right here. Okay, for these nations to eventually shoot their arrows against America, Babylon the Great. Okay, World War III. Okay, then when the other nations see Yahushua and the angels, they're going to try to fight against them, but they will be overcame as well. So I just thought I'd touch on that to the spirit. Lord willing, I was edified. So next time I want to say, Shalom.